All right, we should be live once more. Let's see. Um, okay, that's good. That's good. So, welcome back to my second live tonight. So yeah, after the last stream an hour ago, I thought let's continue celebrating Al Pacino and let's do a watch party of one of his best films, in my opinion. Um, and I actually put it to the audience on the last stream that was watching. I had choices of Serpico and Thunder Woman, and the vote was for 1973's Serpico, directed by the legendary Sidney Lumet, starring Al Pacino in one of his career-defining roles. Right after a lot of people say right after The Godfather, but he actually did do Scarecrow right before this one. Scarecrow did release first in 1973, so it's a bit of a forgotten one, Scarecrow. But yeah, we're here now watching this classic Sidney Lumet film, Serpico. So without any further ado, don't have any intros or clips or anything. We'll just start watching this movie and make our way through it. Give a little commentary as we do. Now this is the 4K that I'm watching from Germany. Um, so I don't know how that translates to other copies, Blu-rays or DVDs, whatever. But this one does start with the Studio Canal logo, as you see right there. And running time on my 4K is 2 hours and 10 minutes. So let's get through this. I know this is originally a Paramount film. So let's see if the Paramount logo pops up after the Studio Canal one. But yeah, Serpico, a career-defining role. Oh no, no Paramount logo. Just got straight to Dino De Laurentiis. Yes, he was the producer on this one. There's the credit for Al Pacino. Um, yeah, career-defining role. Like I said, this is in the 70s, really in that peak era where you have The Godfather, Scarecrow in between, then Serpico, then we go on to Godfather 2, and then Dog Day Afternoon. Just those films there alone, and even before Godfather, Panic in Needle Park, I would count that as the golden age era. So the film as well. That's the one I really started. That's the first leading role that he had. Based on a book by Peter Maas, yes, this is of course based on the real life Frank Serpico, real life former New York City police detective who fought corruption, and his story became public and known and stuff, and very inspirational. And yeah, an author made a book out of it, and the book is what is translated onto the film right here. And here's the first opening scene after a couple of credits. Now it's the opening is very cool where it starts with the sirens wailing and stuff, and it's very sort of ominous a little bit, very dark. And then yeah, it starts with Serpico Pacino being shot in the face in the back of a squad car being driven to the hospital. Um, of course, this is actually the ending of the film. So this is one of those films that sort of starts with the end pretty much, and then it goes back in time. Another notable Pacino film that did this is 1993's Carlito's Way, as well, as some of you might know, where we actually start that film with the ending shot and actually go back in time. So like, how did I get here? So a situation. That's a little bit here. There's no voiceover, nothing. It's just Pacino sitting in the back of the car here. Um, yeah, just being driven to the hospital. We're not really given any context yet. It's sort of implied here, but with these phone calls that the police captain is getting, it's like Serpico has been shot. Serpico shot in the line of duty, and yeah, we're gonna find out just exactly what happened, and we're gonna find out exactly just who shot him and stuff. And it's gonna be a good sort of well, not necessarily reveal or twist, because they do hint at it, like in one of these opening shots, like Serpico has been shot, probably by a cop, and then one of the guys says, "Well, I know at least 100 cops who would like to," or something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's known he fought corruption and he sort of made enemies of his colleagues. I think that's even one of the taglines on the poster. Like, many of his fellow police officers considered him a one of the most dangerous men alive, an honest cop. And Yeah, that's a tagline for. That's pretty much all you need to know about this film is that he is, a good cop, an honest cop, fighting corruption within the force, and just finds, everything and everyone working against him, pretty much. So yeah, this is the film where Pacino rocks the beard, obviously, and he goes through a few facial hair phases, I guess, throughout this film. He has a tash, mustache at one point. He has a goatee, and actually, I think I read they shot this film in reverse, so they started with him in full with the full beard. The shots that we see here, for example. So they pretty much shot all the scenes where he has the full beard and the grown out hair first. And they sort of made their way backwards. Like with each face, they cut his hair a little bit. They got a bit of the goatee. They got a bit of the beard. So they shot it in reverse. And here, for example, there's this Pacino fully clean shaven. I'm noticing actually that the screen comes up a bit greenish on camera. I'm looking at it with my own eyes. It's not green looking to me. So that's just an effect of the camera, I guess, or maybe the lighting in the room. Well, to be fair, this shot is a bit green looking. I wonder if that's because of the 4K HDR or wondering if that's just the way the origin's supposed to. Because I don't remember this film being greenish looking. I mean, this shot definitely isn't. And the hospital here is a bit greenish because we all know green is a bit of a hospital color. So yeah, Serpico. I think it was made on a budget of about $3 million. So pretty low budget, right? Especially after Pacino just had a massive juggernaut hit with The Godfather. Godfather was also pretty low budget. I think what did they end up spending on that? Ultimately, 6 million, 7 million. I could be wrong. It could be a little bit more. But Godfather actually was not an expensive movie to make. That turned into a big blockbuster. Obviously, that broke box office records. Left, right, and center, all over the place. So for Pacino to do pretty much two modest pictures after that, it's pretty rare. Usually, after you have a big hit like that, you would expect an actor to just go do another big, blockbuster production. But yeah, no, Scarecrow, which was the first film after Godfather, I think that was made for about $1 million or $2 million. I think most of the budget was Pacino and Hackman salary, maybe. I'm willing to wager. And this one, yeah, $3 million. I don't think Pacino quite made $1 million by this point. I think the first time Pacino was paid $1 million for a movie was in 1977 for Bobby Deerfield. I think that's the first time he got $1 million fee. So yeah, his fee on this might have been like $500,000, $250,000, something like that, maybe. Which again, you would expect it to be more after coming off one of the biggest movies of all time, but 70s a different era. However, on the $3 million budget that this film was made on, it made a whopping $30 million, just about in the region of $30 million, which a big hit, especially in the 70s. Again, adjusted for inflation, maybe the film in total made, I don't know, maybe like $80 million, and it was made then adjusted for inflation on a $6 million budget, maybe. I don't know the exact inflation numbers, obviously, but still a big hit, even by today's standards. So yeah, we're going back in time. This is Serpico's first day on the job here. Basically, he just graduated the police academy. I know I'm not going to make a police academy joke. That's beneath me. Yeah, so here's a fresh face, young face, whatever, clean shaven Pacino, looking very much like he just walked off the set of one of the scenes of The Godfather where he didn't have the slick back hair. Because later on in the Godfather film, he starts The Godfather with sort of normal hair, like sort of parted to the side, like he pretty much has hair. But yeah, no, The Godfather, he becomes more Don looking, and he has slick back hair and stuff. So it's looking like the early stages of Michael Corleone right here, pretty much, without the busted jaw, which of course McCluskey gave him in The Godfather. Actually, this 4K doesn't have English captions, so I'm going to turn the volume up just a hair, so I can hear a little bit of the dialogue. Otherwise, yeah, it's just going to be me staring at images that doesn't have any sound, but which isn't a bad thing, because I have seen this film a lot of times. I do know pretty much everything that happens in this film. It is Oh, it has always been one of my favorite Pacino films. This one, honestly, it's ever since I first watched it. This story is just so inspiring. Like actually growing up, um, after seeing Pacino, I wanted to be an actor. I was in a phase where I really wanted to be an actor, but I've always sort of also had aspirations to be a cop, if that makes sense. And well, actually, I'm not too far off from that because I'm a security guard, which it's not the same thing, but sort of in a similar sort of sector, or maybe a little bit, I guess. But I've always wanted to be a cop growing up. Six, 5, 6, 7 years old. If they ask you, hey Jeff, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always answer, I want to be a cop, a police officer. And this film actually was very inspiring to me to sort of, how do I put it? Inspired me in a way that I was like, okay, this is something that if I do it, I want to be just like this guy. I want to be an honest cop like Serpico. I don't take money and stuff like that. And I did really find the story, the tale gripping, and Pacino's performance here is just absolutely fantastic. He just becomes Frank Serpico. I always sort of link in this performance of Pacino as Serpico to De Niro's role in Raging Bull, where De Niro obviously did a lot of training and he really went through a whole um, metamorphosis and became the character. And I think that's exactly what happened here with Pacino with this one. He actually met the real Frank Serpico, similar to how De Niro met the real Jake LaMotta, and he trained with Jake LaMotta, and he really hung out with him, studied him. Pacino did the same for this film with Serpico, and again, this one also is a transformation, obviously, with his appearance with the beard and stuff later on in the film. Um, yeah, this is Frank Serpico's first, or one of his first that we see, definitely the first that we see, one of his first sort of patrols, and they get a case of a woman being assaulted. Now, I probably will have to remove the TV because I do remember there being nudity in this film, and at least two scenes that I remember at the top of my head. And the first scene is coming up right now, where one of the one of the poor ladies, or a poor lady, I should say, is sort of, well, how do I put it politely, sexually assaulted a little bit by a couple of guys. Michael Winner would be proud, although Michael Winner would have shot it more graphically than it already is, which actually it's pretty tame by the day standard. Here's the nudity. Remove from stage. There goes the TV for a few seconds. Yeah, there's the nudity. So yeah, Pacino and his partner. There's three African American guys who are doing very bad things with this poor African American lady. I'll cut her, man. I'll cut her. Oh yeah, they're definitely not shying away from the nudity in this bit. Okay, I think we're safe for now. They drop the girl and they're running, and Pacino is in pursuit. Again, the screen looks greener there coming up on the video than it does actually to the naked eye. So that's weird. I think that's just the camera then. Yeah, so Pacino just captured one of the assaultees, or whatever the correct word is, and they're now questioning the poor victim, the poor lady victim. The other one put his thing out, put it up to my mouth as she's describing it. It's very uncomfortable, to be fair. I mean, again, if this was in the hands of a director like Michael Winner, it would have been more graphic and it would have been more exploitative. Yeah, that's the word, right? But Sidney Lumet um, handles it very delicately, I must say, considering circumstances. And here is the scene where we first are going to witness some of the corruption in the force, where obviously this is a tired sort of cliche by this point, after millions of cop movies, but where they mistreat the suspect, where they beat up the suspect. Now Pacino's here present, but he doesn't participate obviously because he's the good cop. But his partner here, he's a pretty nasty piece of work. He puts the beat down on this guy. Yeah, kicks him in the balls. I do like the scene afterwards where Pacino actually, it's coming up. Pacino tries to sort of reason with the guy, sort of get down to the guy's level, um, and apologizing for his partner. Yeah, here his partner said, "Hey Frank, you want a piece of it?" And he's just like, "Nah, I'm gonna go outside, fill out the report or something." He says. Yeah, here's the scene, and he is like, he does this prick really messed you up. It's basically sort of saying to him, "Look, I'm on your side, and if you want to get out of this, uh, you know, uh, I'm the guy to help you. Let me help you. I want to help you." That's basically what Pacino's doing here. I like the scene where he says, "I'm going to take you across the street, get you a cup of coffee without cuffs." And he says, "Look, I didn't touch you in there, but if you take off on me, if you fuck me, I'm going to put one in your bag." Again, I can't do that high pitched voice at the moment that Pacino has. "I'm going to put one in your bag." Yeah, that's more like it. But this really shows that Frank Serpico, he really is a good cop with good motives and stuff. And hey, we have somebody in the chat. We have Queen. The Queen is in the house. Hey May, how's it going? It was awesome seeing you on Matt's stream the other day. It was, even though that's not my favorite Chucky film, I really had a great time watching the film with you guys. So that was a great stream. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. Always a pleasure reading your comments and having you just involved with the chat. It's excellent. Yeah, so Pacino, he's just said the line that I said. He's actually taking this suspect across the street, getting him a cup of coffee, and he's pretty much reasoning with him like, "Look, you're the only one we caught out of the group. The other one's just gonna leave you holding the bag. You're gonna take the blame for him. You didn't do anything. Rat on him." He's pretty much just saying to this guy, if you squeal on the other guys that actually did something, um, you know, we can actually, help you commit your thing, get you a lesser sentence, whatever. So that's the gist of the scene right here. And I really do like Pacino's acting in this one. Look, I don't understand. What are you obligated to this guys? Fuck them. They left you holding the bag. You know nothing. That's actually exactly the line he's saying right there. That's how much I know the movie. I know exactly when he's saying the line. No worries, man. My pleasure. It definitely was fun. Yeah. Again, I loved your whole background there with the Chuckies and with the other horror characters. The Michael Myers, especially that Michael Myers. What was that, like a bust or something? That was cool. But yeah, your talking Chuckies were awesome. Love seeing those. I think I said on the stream in the comment, I only have the NECA Ultimate Chucky from the first film, or I think it's sort of combines a couple of films. But that's the only Chucky figure I have. But I would definitely be interested in getting a few more. Cool character for sure. So yeah, here Pacino got the tip on the other suspects. It's one of them, or is it both of them? Oh, yeah, it's both of them. So yeah, Serpico is now actually pretty much he's telling him like, I got these guys that need backup and they don't want to give him backup. And he says, I can't wait. And then pretty much he just single-handedly arrests both of the suspects, even though he was concerned that if he tries to go, he's going to lose one and just get one. But he actually manages to get both. Spoilers. You're welcome, man. Much love. If I can do a hand heart. There you go. And it's actually this really showed, Pacino was in his early 30s when he shot this film. I think he was 33 when he did Pang and Pog. He might have been 34, 35 when he did this film. He was still very young, very energetic, and you really see how quick he moves here and very well, sort of very. He's very on his feet, energetic and stuff. One of the things that they maybe screwed up a little bit, even though they did really try their best on The Irishman, was where he's supposed to be way younger than he is in The Irishman, where they de-age him and stuff, and he's supposed to move like a guy in his 40s. He still moves like a 70-year-old guy. They try to coach him like remember how you moved and stuff, and Pacino did try, but it still sort of comes off. Even though they look young, they still have old movement, especially De Niro in that film where he does the beatdown. The CGI wasn't quite effective, or the CGI was effective, but he still moved like a 76-year-old man or whatever. Don't know how I'll get into that. Yeah, Pacino again, being young, he still had great movement and stuff. Obviously, when you get old, it's one of the things of getting older. Obviously, you move a bit slower and stuff. But oh, this is a lovely scene here. Pacino crossing the street here. I don't know if this is a famous street in New York or whatever. I don't even know which part of New York this is. It might be the Bronx or something. Again, I'm not from New York. I have no idea. But with the fire hydrant there, the kids playing, I like this scene. This is a cute little scene. Like a lot of the film, obviously, most of the film was shot in New York. I don't know about interiors. If they shot interiors on locations in New York, they might have done that in the studio in LA or something. But obviously, the exteriors are all, uh, you know, the '70s New York era shot, stuff. And it's the '70s and New York. Uh, Always make for a great film. Death Wish obviously springs to mind. Such a gritty, raw look at New York. Um, this one as well, definitely. Yeah, so many movies in the '70s in New York. Taxi Driver, Mean Streets. Those are some other examples, obviously. The music in this scene has always sort of put me off a little bit. This is maybe one critique I have to. They play the very happy, sort of maybe a little melancholic, sort of sad, sort of Serpico theme throughout this scene. I don't know if the Serpico theme sort of necessarily matches this scene. That's my own critique with this, but I do like it. Where he is actually catching up with his brother. His brother runs the shoe store, shoe repair store or something. Anyway, hey, Larry, the horror cat dad in the house. Look at that. There he is. How's it going, Larry? Good to have you here. Always a pleasure. Just can't get over how young Pacino is in this film, man. It's sad that he is 84 years old today. He pretty much has a baby face here, especially with the big haircut. Should I give you a close up on that? Let's risk it. Oh, and just as I'm trying to give a close up, he's moving out the scene. I think they're going to stay in this medium shot. No more close up. All right, then immediately now this scene, he has a mustache. Um, so this is the first facial hair face in the film. Obviously, we did see him in the beginning with the beard that we see right there in the middle of my screen. But here he has a mustache. And I must say, Pacino with just a mustache looks a bit weird. A goatee or a beard looks awesome. With just a tash, it looks a little '70s porn star esque, dare I say. Let's see if we can get a close up on that tash. Uh, if they put him in the frame. There's a cool dolly shot, I guess. That's what this is. This was before Steadicam. So this must be a dolly shot. Oh, there he is. Yeah, looks a little '70s porn star esque, that mustache. Luckily, it's not long that he has that look. It's pretty soon he will have a goatee, and then obviously we'll move towards the beard. 84, that's crazy. Yeah, it looks hell yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this 1973, like I said, I think he was like in his early 30s when he did this film. I really think he was like 31 maybe when he shot the Panic in Hill Park, and then obviously by Godfather he was 32, and I really think he's 33, 34 at most by this point. Larry, that's what Mayan says. Queen May, how are you doing? That '70s tash, yeah, indeed. Ah, enjoy your meal, May. Have a good one. Um, saying hello. Yeah, the '70s tash, and this scene, I wish. Actually, no, I don't think there are subtitles for this scene. This scene is just pretty much like in The Godfather, where you have a scene in Italian or whatever it is, and they don't subtitle it. So even if I had subtitles, it wouldn't translate what they're saying right now. It sounds Italian. I think Serpico was Italian. I mean, I should have done this research, but I think Serpico actually was Italian American. Could be wrong though. But anyway, they're not speaking English in this scene. Is the point I'm just trying to make. So yeah, again, this is right slapdash in the middle, right there in the middle of a '70s great era. Like I said before, before this he just did Panic at Needle Park, Godfather, and Scarecrow, and then after this he would do Godfather 2 and Dog Day Afternoon. And man, again, just that group of like first 5 films. He should have gotten a Lifetime Achievement Award just for those films, right? But then he followed on. He carried on. Then by the '70s we got yeah, this is Pacino's bad singing scene. He sings along to the radio and Al, you're a great actor. You're the best actor in my opinion, but singing isn't one of your skills. um, nice. I'm good. Just waiting in the pickup lane. Just picked something cool from the comic shop. Oh, awesome, awesome. This is something I'm sure we're gonna see on your channel soon in another Figure Friday video. He kind of looks like a younger Khalil. Yeah, yeah, a little bit. He with the beard, I think he definitely, yeah, younger Khalil. That makes sense. It's the same sort of look, even though Khalil had shorter hair, not too much, but a little bit shorter. But yeah, the beard is pretty much identical, and I think um, obviously this one inspired Stallone as well for Nighthawks, where Stallone has a similar beard. Stallone was pretty much rocking the Serpico look in that one. Let's not kid ourselves. I think he was pretty much inspired by Pacino's look for that one. We have Mr. Pacino's namesake here, Mr. Alucard. How's it going, Al? Always great to have you here as well. Yeah, and there you go. Pacino has the best first name. I absolutely agree. I mean, there's too many great people named Al. Al Pacino, Al Bundy, Alucard. Al Capone. Well, I wouldn't say Al Capone was great, but in his own way, he was. Anyway, great to have some more Americans here. I did figure with this sort of time slot that I picked for this watch party that I would attract a few American viewers. So that's great. Usually, I always have a full house of British people, so the bat in the house exactly. Yeah, this is in regards to all the great people named Al. Yeah, Al Powell. Yeah, from Die Hard. Yeah, can't forget about Mr. Powell. Jesus Christ, Powell, he might be a fucking bartender for all we know. Well, and this is actress Cornelia Sharp, who I must say is a pretty damn attractive looking woman. Yeah, Pacino is still rocking the porn tash, and he's driving a bike. Now, there is a fun sort of bit of tidbits trivia about Pacino. Pacino actually didn't get his driver's license until Bobby Deerfield. Being a New Yorker, he always got around using the subway and stuff like that. And he didn't feel a need to get a driver's license, but he actually got one for Bobby Deerfield, where he played a race car driver. That was 1977. So for this scene, I don't know if he's actually driving the bike or if he's being pulled. If he is driving the bike with pretty much no driving experience, that is a pretty damn impressive job. I've never ridden a motorcycle before, so I mean, it looks pretty damn tricky to me. But kudos to him if he actually was driving, if he wasn't being pulled by a car or something. You know the story of Pacino and Argento. I feel I've heard a little bit, but please enlighten me because I'm not too sure at the moment. But yeah, Pacino Argento, that's something I would like to hear. I think I've heard a little bit somewhere, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Please tell us. Indeed, yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to see what Larry picked up. I'm sure it's going to be another awesome figure or something, like that. This street right here, I should point out, I recognize this one. The street he's in right here with the curve, yeah, this is the same street and same apartment. Don't know if it's the same apartment, but it is. The street is used in a scene in Carlito's Way. So there's another Carlito's Way connection there for you. There's another connection to Carlito's Way. This is, yeah, obviously thanks to his new girlfriend, played by Cornelia Sharp. He's getting into ballet, so he was kind of a fruity character, Frank Serpico. Well, I mean, maybe that's a bit harsh, but there's not too many guys that are into ballet. Let's put it that way. So it's a bit weird. He's a bit of an outsider. That's sort of the point I'm trying to make. So yeah, Pacino as Frank Serpico and the real Frank Serpico did apparently as well. He's getting into ballet, so he's showing his cop colleague here some positions to perform with ballet. Uh, yeah, it's a bit weird. Um, hey, Gareth is here. Gareth, I was just had a great live live chat, live stream with all about VHS covers of the eighties and nineties, which we all love. But yeah, I um, do love me some VHS cover, and I did catch the last part of it. Obviously, the last 30 minutes, I want to say, because obviously I was doing my previous live stream, so um, I will catch up on the rest, no doubt. Al saying, Argento wanted Jennifer Connelly's character in Phenomena to be Pacino's daughter. He wanted to use Al's pictures in the movie, and he was like, no, some daughter I don't even have. Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense, because isn't Connelly's character in Phenomena called Corvino last name? So it's very similar to Pacino, and I think her dad was Paul Corvino, which in the name Paul there is AL. So that would make sense actually, and yeah, that would make sense. I do love Phenomena by the way, but that aside, oh fuck me, something happened there. Just in case that last bit got cut off, I do like Phenomena. I'd like to do a watch party on that one day. Do love Phenomena. Um, yeah, indeed, Al's Nemesis, Bloody Alucard. Yes, yeah, you kind of got it indeed. Yeah. Oh, this is James Tolkien. What is his name, by the way? You remember him from movies like Back to the Future and Problem Child is another one I do remember him from. Even though again I haven't seen those movies in bloody years, but James Tolkien, he plays one of the lieutenants here. Not this one, but this one has a cool name, Captain McLean. Obviously, we know John McClane from Die Hard, so maybe this is his grandfather or uncle or something. McLean's one of McLean's relatives. Yeah, yeah, he has a name thing there, Captain McLean. That's a Die Hard connection, maybe. What was he called in the book that Die Hard is based on? Did they invent the McLean name for the movie, or was that in the book? I've never read the book, so I think maybe Gareth has. If you can let us know. I do know, of course, the original movie was a detective with Frank Sinatra. I've never seen that either. But yeah, actually, there's a weird sound coming from my. I think we're okay. Yeah, Pacino still has the tash. It's taking a while before he gets to more facial hair. I actually forgot he had this much scenes with just a tash. I thought this was just a few scenes. And he's bought himself a dog. Yeah, he's got a nice little New York apartment, a dog, a lovely girlfriend. What more could a man want? He's happy with his job at this point, still, even though he is already noticing, of course, the corruption in the force. Yeah, this is a Pacino has some really quirky looks in this film with the hat there. I think this one he dresses more hippie, more like a hippie in this scene. Yeah, a little bit with the longer hair, the tash, and the shirt. This is definitely a product of the '70s. This movie, it definitely is. If you look at the style and the clothes and stuff. Yeah, this is a scene I never really. I don't know what the word is. I felt this scene wasn't really necessarily necessary for the story. Because it's basically him at a party with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend is introducing him to everyone, saying, "Okay, this is my boyfriend Paco," which is by the way is a nickname for him, Paco. Serpico, Paco. Okay, yeah, makes sense a little bit. And she's saying to everybody he's a cop, and he's like, "Don't tell people I'm a cop," because it turns him off or something. I get it, like people's aversion to cops. They don't really like being around cops and stuff, but feel a bit mistrusty. But yeah, but it does showcase Pacino's excellent dance moves. And there he is, right there. Yeah, doing a little dance. This is definitely a '70s movie. Even though I think this in the time frame of the movie, I think this is supposed to be the late '60s that this takes place in. And I think by the finale, when he does have the full beard and stuff, that's when it's supposed to be in the early '70s. But this part is taking place in the early in the late '60s, obviously, where you had the you know the hippie movement and the what's called the anti-culture movement and stuff. People being a bit more liberated and free and stuff. So it makes sense that he's a bit hippie like during these scenes. Yes, there was, and I've never seen it, but I have heard a lot of people do. People have said they remember it being decent and stuff. But I've never seen it. And I don't think it's even out on. Excuse me. I don't think it's even out on physical or anything. I never actually encountered it anywhere. Like here's DVD set of the Serpico TV show. I never saw that, so it would be an interesting watch if I can find it somewhere. I think there might have been an ABC network show or something. I think I've read that somewhere. However, after this movie, what other Serpico things do you want? I mean, this is the ultimate Serpico film, in my opinion. I think the real Serpico has said that this film is at least 80-90% accurate. Obviously, there is stuff dramatized for, for motion picture purposes. But mostly it's accurate. But it is a good scene. That fucking thing in your lip goes and get a haircut. That's an order. You look like an asshole with dentures. And that's actually the guy that says that line. The guy that says the line, you look like an asshole with dentures. That's actually one of the interrogators in the first scene in Scarface, one of the immigration officers. I think he's the guy that says, that son of a bitch, Castro shitting all over us. Get this bastard to Freedom Town. Let them take a look at it. It's that guy. Another Scarface connection will pop up towards the finale where we get a early role, I want to say, for F. Murray Abraham. F. Murray Abraham is actually in this film, and I think he's uncredited as well, but it's an early role for him. But he has a speaking role, so I don't know why he's uncredited. But It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did a great Serpico parody. Yes, I have seen that with, what's the guy's name? I always forget the guy's name. Not Danny DeVito, but the other guy that actually does the Serpico thing. It'll come to me, but I forget his name. But I have seen that bit on YouTube. So I think he's moved to another precinct, or being transferred, I guess, to another precinct. And this captain is actually being very lenient with him. He's like, okay, look, I don't, you're not required to wear a uniform. You can just wear your own clothes, go out on patrol, work undercover. And that's what Pacino's doing in this scene. And this is a iconic scene. Obviously, Pacino chasing this guy, going through the subway thing here, subway station. Again, Pacino being very agile, very athletic, running pretty quickly. I think he might have done some basic police training, like how to chase a suspect and stuff like that. He's the kind of guy that really goes into a role, so I expect he would have hung around real cops and picked a few things up and stuff. But there's an iconic scene where he chases down the perp, and actually, because he's undercover, these plainclothes cops don't recognize him. They start shooting at him and the suspect. And he's like, "Hey, don't shoot! Don't shoot!" Well, I'm trying to do the Pacino voice, but please, officer, Frank Serpico. When he does, again, he has the high pitched voice at this point. But hey, I'm an officer. It's me, Serpico. Yes, flashing the badge. Now this guy, I recognize him too. The guy. His face looks familiar. There he is. Yeah, the face looks familiar. I think I've seen that guy in some other stuff. Yeah, it was an awesome interview again from the last 30 minutes that I was able to catch. Again, I will watch the rest of it. But yeah, that was an awesome interview. Some great titles got mentioned, some great VHS art. Definitely a great stream. Indeed. And again, it shows how sort of bent and lazy as well these cops are, because this guy is like, hey Frank, look, I'm sorry for shooting at you. I know you made a bust here, but this is gonna, you know, take a shitload of paperwork to clear this up. If you can just give us the bust, we can, simplify things. So they're actually basically saying, give us your bust, be a colleague, help us out. It's like, you stupid fuck. You want the call, huh? You don't want to fill out forms. And he actually does say, okay, you can have him. So he sacrifices the bus to help his colleague at this point, which again shows what a stand-up guy Serpico is. With most people in that situation would be like, "Hey, you stupid fuck, you shot at me. You fill in the paperwork." I think that's pretty much what my reaction would be, especially if the prick just shot at me. Serpico TV series, I vaguely remember a name only. Yeah, like I said, I've only heard of it. Never seen anything of it. I don't even know who started it, to be honest, but chances are he's probably not as memorable as Pacino. Oh, this is finally, he got rid of the tash. He got a goatee here. And I don't know if cops actually do this, because again, I'm not a cop, but they were actually testing out joints, right? Marijuana cigarettes in this scene. They're like, okay, when you're out in the street, you got to identify the drug, the this and that. So we got some samples. Basically, they're saying, like, the people can't smoke pot, but we can, we're cops. But yeah, it does prompt a bit of a funny scene here where Pacino and his partner are a bit stoned, obviously. And yeah, his partner here is trying to get food out of his vending machine. It's not working, and prompts a bit of comedic moments. Please give me some sweet potatoes or something. I don't know what it is that he wants from this thing, but now Pacino does actually really. I think he really nails the goatee look. I think he has a great goatee. I think that's pretty much why it's his sort of usual look that he has when he's not filming stuff. Because usually when you see Pacino's pictures, when you see pictures of Pacino, that are taken by paparazzi or whatever, or off camera or offset pictures and stuff, he usually has a goatee in his daily life, and he looks really great with a goatee. He's one of the best goatee wearers out there for me, that's for sure. But I don't think he's rocking this look in the film a long time, and I think I have to remove the TV in a few seconds because I do remember a nude scene coming up. We get some boobies. Cornelia Sharp is going to get her boobies out. I wish I could show you, but alas, I can't. Keeping my finger on the button because I think it's right after this bit. Oh, there it is. Oh, crap. That could have gone better. Well, you're welcome. If you got that in a few seconds, you're welcome. But yeah, Pacino's taking a bath with Cornelia Sharp. And yeah, she has her boobies out. And this is another scene that I don't know. It's on the one hand, I get what the gist of it is. Like he's a sort of bachelor. He doesn't want to tie down, even though he does have the girlfriend. She really is desperate to get married, and basically she gives him an ultimatum here. It's like, either you marry me or I'm gonna marry this one guy in what was it, Fort Amarillo or something like that. What is it she said, Amarillo? And Pacino's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get married, so off you go, love. Pretty much. Which is actually weirdly very similar to Pacino's real life. Like Pacino has always been a confirmed bachelor. He's never been married. Um, he always had lots of relationships over the years. Diane Keaton being a prime one. Actually had a big fling with her on and off for pretty much all the Godfather films, to be honest. Um, and I think that broke up because he wasn't willing to get married. May is still listening. Thanks, May. Do appreciate that. Um, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Diane Keane. I think that broke off because Pacino wasn't, going to be tied down. So maybe Pacino picked that up from Serpico, that little thing, because I don't know. It's a weird, life imitates art sort of thing. So obviously, I imagine it's based on a real Frank Serpico. So the real Frank Serpico wasn't being, you know, wasn't willing to be committed, tied down to a woman. Oh yeah, and this is he has the full beard already. Yeah, so he has a lot of scenes with just the mustache, but only a few scenes with the goatee, and now he has a full beard. So we're catching up. Obviously, the beard is indicating that time is passing. Obviously, because you don't grow a beard like that in a few days. Believe me, I tried. Um, that's why I just keep my goatee. um, yeah, now he has a full beard. He has a weird looking hat. Very stylish for the time, I guess. Yeah, he just received his first bribe, which he's not sure what to do with it. He just received a bribe from a fellow officer, pretty much saying, "Hey, Serpico, we know that you're here. We know you know what's going on. Keep quiet. Um, Here's some money. Keep quiet." Because they don't trust him because he doesn't take money and stuff. Oh crap! I can actually put the TV back. I forgot that I didn't. Silly me. I was gonna say that's why you can't see that he actually has a full beard now instead of a goatee. I'm guessing that's in reference to my goatee. Do appreciate that, Maya. Appreciate that. I try to go for a Pacino sort of goatee look. He's an inspiration to me in more ways than one. I mean, to be fair, Stallone rocks a cool goatee as well when he like in Expendables 1 and Get Carter. And Tulsa King, of course, he's rocking goatee as we speak at the moment because he's shooting Tulsa King season 2. And now they bring his bribe to again another higher up official, a police captain or commissioner or something. Um, for the longest time, I thought this was the producer of the film, Martin Brackman, because if you look at pictures of Martin Brackman, he looks awfully damn similar to this guy, but it's actually not him. That got debunked as soon as I actually bothered to look it up. Jeff Pacino. Oh, now you're talking. Hooah! Yeah, so this is where he has the full Serpico look. He has the long, grown out hair, the full beard, and he's looking damn great, I must say. I did always find this guy just munching on his big, uh, dinner plate there. Pretty funny. What's the other term? Forget it. And then he slurps down on that. Yeah. And yeah, obviously, yeah, his girlfriend ran off to marry some other guy because she was desperate to get married, and now Pacino, Serpico, I should say, is the character Serpico. Serpico is alone in his apartment with a pet mouse. And now he goes to another guy in the apartment to, I don't know, I guess ask for help on what to do with him receiving the bribe from his colleagues. But he's pretty much finding resistance all over the place. Everybody's saying like, forget it, this and that. There's nothing you can do about it. Everybody's sort of working against him. He's not actually finding a guy that's like, oh shit, one of our guys gave you a bribe. I'm gonna deal with him. None of that. Everybody's sort of in cahoots with this whole corruption thing, and it's really turning Serpico into an outsider. Again, that's what for me makes this film so great. Is you really get to see him, trapped in this thing. As an outsider, he desperately wants to change the situation, but he just finds resistance. Coming at him from every corner. It's such a great story. Um, that's why he's always been one of my favorite Pacino films. And here he meets his next girlfriend, who conveniently lives right next door. He's gonna get a fling with the next door neighbor. He's listening to opera music. It's actually a pretty good scene, this one. Where she says, I love your garden, and he says, if you love the garden, you gotta love the man. And I forget her name, actually. The first girlfriend, Laurie, was played by. Oh, wait, no, this is Laurie. Leslie. Leslie, that was the first girlfriend's name. And she was played by Cornelia Sharp. I don't remember this actress's name. Um, I don't think she's done much else. Cornelia Sharp, I've seen in one other film at least, in a film with Sean Connery. The Next Man, aka, has a bunch of alternate titles that I can't think of right now. But one of the titles is commonly known as The Next Man. I've seen Cornelia Sharp in that film, but this actress, I don't think I've seen anything else. Um, Again, showing more of the passage of time. Not only does he have the full beard and grown out hair, but his dog has also gotten very big. Obviously, he bought the dog as a puppy a few scenes ago, and now the dog is. Look at the size of that dog. What kind of species is that dog anyway? What race is that? I don't think I've seen many dogs like that. I only know a couple of dog breeds, to be fair. But yeah, another fun anecdote as we are, also doing trivia as well, and I've rattled off quite a bit of trivia at the beginning of this watch party. But Pacino actually was so much into character for this one that he actually had a fake, prop movie, police badge. He actually, I think he was in the back of a cab one day in New York City, and there was a truck driver in front of the taxi, the cab. It was actually letting out a lot of, pollution, like a lot of smoke and stuff from the exhaust pipe. And Pacino actually threatened to arrest the guy for pollution. He actually was like, he pulled his badge out and like, fucker, you're under arrest. He actually wanted to arrest the guy. He was that much into character. Which I thought was a funny story. Pacino has told the story on a few occasions. Um, he was like, "Oh, I just got," because he said this, obviously in an interview where he had the old Pacino voice, where he's like, "Oh, I had that fucker in front of me. He was letting a lot of air, and I just pull out my badge, I pull over, stuff like that." Yeah, Pacino actually was that much into character, which shows, how dedicated the guy is. I think they even poked fun of his sort of his outfits in this movie in Last Action Hero, didn't they? I'm just remembering as he's checking in there at the desk. Last Action Hero, you have that scene where you have, as Arnold is talking to the captain, I believe, and the kid Danny sort of walking around the station, and he sees obviously the Danny DeVito animated cat checking in by the desk, and you have one guy saying, "Oh, you have the guy at the desk saying, okay, you're partnering up with the rabbi." Pacino actually has a scene in this where he's dressed like a rabbi, where he has an even bigger fake beard, and obviously the hat and stuff. I think that rabbi thing in Last Action Hero was a reference to Pacino dressed as a rabbi in this film. I do believe that was uh, the intent behind that. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that is why he's one of the greats. Absolutely. Like I said, I always liken this performance of Pacino's to De Niro's in Raging Bull, where De Niro in Raging Bull was so committed on this part of this real guy that really existed, and the same for Pacino in this film. And both sort of underwent a transformation to play the characters. Right, obviously De Niro was fit for the boxing scenes, and he ate a lot of fast food and whatever to become fat Jake LaMotta, and Pacino obviously underwent the transformation with the beard and everything like that. And both gentlemen studied the real person up close. Pacino got to be with the real Frank Serpico, and De Niro got to be with the real Jake LaMotta. So I always say like De Niro has this Raging Bull performance, but Pacino has the Serpico performance. I always sort of connect the two together in that way. It's sort of both based on real persons. Both actors got to study the guy. Both actors really underwent a transformation, for the performance. You could argue De Niro a bit more. Obviously, for Raging Bull, it's a bit more physically exhausting what he did, like training, get in shape, and then get out of shape. Um, but still, same sort of, comes down to the same thing, doesn't it? A little bit. I think he's by now. I think he's been transferred to six different precincts by this point. He's at another new precinct, and he has a new partner or new guy here showing him the ropes of the precinct. I'm pretty much interrogating him like, if you ever did see a colleague take money, would you say it? Would you, you know, would you rat basically? And he's like, well, it depends on who it is. But basically, what he is doing throughout the entire film, like he's pretty much letting the corruption happen, but he's just not partaking in it. And it's because he's not partaking in it, that's why people are nervous. Like, oh no, this guy is, we can't trust him because he doesn't take money. Whereas if they were actually smart, they would just continue taking money themselves and they would just let Serpico alone because he actually wasn't really actively like going against his colleagues. He was just like, okay, you do your thing, I do mine, pretty much. So his colleagues actually pretty much brought all this crap on them themselves, if you look at it that way, by trying to pressure him and stuff. This film, this film and story, it was very important, for NYPD, exposing the corruption and stuff. I'm sure there's still, corruption in the world. I don't think corruption will ever fully go away, but I can definitely say for sure. I think it's way better nowadays, with these sort of things. Um, yeah, I mean, this is I think one of my favorite scenes right there, where he's pretty much just saying like, "I'm caught here in the middle. I don't know what to do. Everybody's so fucking corrupt. Everybody." Oh yeah, at first he's relating an anecdote with her with the girlfriend. He's saying like, when I was a kid, I saw this cop once. He has nice, polished shoes, nice polished badge, everything, and he looked like a hero. And that he's sort of telling, why he wanted to become a cop here. And then afterwards, he's talking about the downside to his work. Which again, it's a really great scene. I'll give that a close up a little bit. It's just him telling a story, but it's so well acted, and her reactions are great too. Yeah. Let's not risk it anymore. So this has always been a top 10 Pacino film for me. It's hard to call it between this one and Dog Day Afternoon because, both Sidney Lumet films, both same director, both same, you know, main actor, obviously Pacino, and both are masterpieces. But I always have preferred this one slightly to Dog Day Afternoon, even though Dog Day Afternoon is phenomenal as well. Um, it's hard to call, but I always just personally prefer this one. Just the hair. It's just the hair. Imagine back then it was a lot easier to get away with stuff. Yeah, it was until until Serpico came along. And I think because of Serpico and because what happens in the ending and stuff, I think they actually, I think pretty much that's how internal affairs maybe I think started. It's because of this guy. That's why they investigate, within the department, because at this point you didn't have cops investigating cops. I think they even say this a few times in the movie. So Serpico might be the reason why Eternal Affairs is a thing. This is a scene here where she's giving him a rub down, sort of trying to relax him, being a very supportive girlfriend. She's a better girlfriend for him than the previous one, I would say. It's a shame that this relationship doesn't last as well, but spoilers. But yeah, Pacino's really great in this scene. It's a lovely scene between them. Let's see. Hey, Jason, how's it going, my man? Good to see you here. It's been a while. Always great to see you in the chat as well. Backtrack Cinema. If you're not familiar with his channel, guys, check him out. Excellent stuff on there. Just pour myself a bit more water. Oh, he's getting a new partner. Showing the mouse. It's a drug sniffing mouse. Sniffs it out, brings it back to you. Is that a thing? It's not a drug sniffing mouse. I mean, obviously there are canines that sniff out drugs, but I don't know if there's ever been a mouse that can sniff that shit out. He actually said it with so much conviction, you would think it's true, but I doubt it. Oh yeah, so they're going to collect money. So he's now in a division or department where they actually have money runs. So they partner him up with a guy that collects the money. And you will see in a few seconds he's actually very very brutal about the whole thing. Jason's saying, been so busy with work and some serious content coming up. Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, work can be a bitch, that's for sure. Totally get it. We're saying hello, that's good. So yeah, they're basically chasing this poor African American guy right there. Well, Serpico wasn't chasing; he's just along for the ride, sadly. But this guy is. Oh, he actually slips. Wonder if that was if that happened on the moment or if that was planned. French Connection is another great 70s New York film. I talked about this a little bit earlier. Great, 70s New York films, but all this chasing and running around reminded me of the French Connection. That's another great one. Obviously, Gene Hackman, great film. So yeah, poor Frank Serpico is just along for the ride. Nothing he can do yet. Actually, this guy that he's partnered up, or he's actually pretty sort of understandable of Serpico in a way, because after they collect their money, and he actually wants to give it to them, and Serpico's like, no, I don't take money, and he says, okay, well, cool, I'll just store your money and I'll hold it for you if you ever change your mind. So he's not pushing him into taking the money. He's sort of understanding, like, okay, you don't want to right now, you'll be ready for it at some point. Obviously, spoilers, he won't be, but um, he's not a dig back to Serpico. He's a dig back to the suspect here, that's for sure. But or suspect, what am I saying? This poor guy that's shaking down for money. He's not even a suspect. He hasn't even committed a crime. Yeah, definitely can relate. Work has been nuts lately. Oh yeah, definitely can relate. I think every one of us can. So yeah, Serpico is just the poor onlooker, spectator to these crazy events. Totally powerless to do anything, but yeah, there's a scene. They go back to the guy's apartment, and he's like, "Here's your cut." Yeah, they collected the money. Yeah, so yeah, what he just said there, he said, the guy said, what do you think about the money? And he said, well, if I was broke, if I had a family, I don't know. But he says, I'm not broke and I don't have a family. So that's actually pretty good reasoning for not taking money. I mean, why take it if you don't need it, right? And besides, the fact that it's being a dishonest car, but you know, why would I mean? Yeah, I guess you can argue about this, like, well, it never hurts to have a bit extra and stuff like that. But his morals are good. I mean, it's pretty much demonstrated throughout the entire film. But Serpico has good morals. So, like I said, it is a top 10 Pacino film. I think I've always ranked it right in the middle somewhere, or maybe even in the top 5. I should have rewatched my Pacino top 10 video before I did this to sort of know where I ranked them. But I know this is a pretty high ranking one in the top 10. Uh, it's always been. Actually, I think for a while I might have ranked this like right after Scarface. Like I might have even put this over The Godfather and stuff, which is crazy to think about now. Um, but yeah, I actually really, really loved it that much at one point. I still love it a lot, but not on the level of Godfather. But a very inspirational film as well for many other cop films after this. I mean, if you look at the '70s Euro crime films, a lot of them were based on American films like Serpico, Death Wish, Dirty Harry, stuff like that. There even was a Italian um, sort of series of films of a cop called Nico Giraldi, played by Tomas Milian. Cop in Blue Jeans, I think, is one of the title or something like that. Um, something with blue jeans. That's one of the films. I think they made like 6, 7 of those Nico Giraldi films in Italy. Um, and his look, Tomas Milian's look, was pretty much Serpico. He had the beard, he had the long hair, he had hats, all that stuff. So yeah, Italy took notice from Serpico as well. That's for sure. With the Eurocrime films. Oh, it's a sweatshirt. It's a sweatshirt. It's not a jacket. But yeah, I do appreciate that. Yeah, it's one of my favorite sort of shirts that I have. It's from Rocky Four. Well, it's not an exact replica because it should. I fucking find it. There it is. It should say Adidas right there where the Rocky statue is. But since it's a replica, they couldn't afford the Adidas, so they just put the Rocky statue on there, which it works. It helps identify. It helps to identify it more as a Rocky sort of article of clothing, I guess. But yeah, Slice the Loan Shop. That's where I got this. Oh yeah, he's partnered up with a new partner. Like really, he goes through more partners than Dirty Harry in this film. Even though, to be fair, unlike Dirty Harry, his partners have survived so far. It's just him constantly switching from precincts and stuff. But he has another partner here. Again, this guy is going to collect money, and he wants to give it to Frank, and Frank is, no, I don't take money. Basically goes through the entire spiel once again. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It is. It's nice and warm too. It's not. I wouldn't say it's warm enough to wear in winter. Or maybe it is. It's quite thick. Um, it's kind of one that you can wear in pretty much all seasons. Even though you will, well, it is a sweatshirt, but you will sweat during the summertime if you wear this. But it's definitely keeps you warm in the winter. Plentiful, I would say. Here it is. Yeah, I don't take money. Why not? Because I don't take money. That's the truth. That's what he says. Oh, this is a different bit of a look. He has a little bit of a ponytail. He actually put his hair in a ponytail in this scene. I don't think I've seen Pacino with a ponytail that often. trying to think now. He had it a little bit in the Looking for Richard documentary. There were a few scenes where he had a ponytail, where he had long hair for Cleo's Way, I think. And he put that in a ponytail. But it's not a look that he has done often, that's for sure. Not, he's definitely not a ponytail rocker like Steven Seagal is, that's for sure. Nobody wears a ponytail like Seagal. 90s Seagal, that is, because obviously he's he has fake hair now. But yeah, so this guy here, he's pretty much been his friend throughout the entire film. He's sort of been on Serpico's side. He's now come up with the idea, like, let's skip going through police captains and stuff like that, because they're on the take as well. He's like, let's go straight to the top. Let's go to the mayor. He says, I have an inside guy with the mayor. I can get you in. And it's this scene right here. They're discussing the problem with the mayor's aide, assistant, secretary, whatever you want to call him. And this guy seems enthusiastic. He's like, beautiful, dynamite. Oh, everybody's in it. Oh, fantastic. He's like, we should do something about it. But again, not to get far ahead, but it doesn't really pan out that way. And I actually thought for the longest time this guy I recognize him from somewhere else, but I think I did an IMDb on him one time. I actually nothing in his credits stuck out besides this film, of course. But again, he has one of them faces. You think you recognize him, but turns out you don't. So he's very enthusiastic. He's like, okay, I'm gonna call the mayor and stuff. Is he there? And oh, we see. The he is the mayor. Oh yeah, this is I remember this scene as well. He's coming in like he's acting a bit distraught, like well, give me a drink. He's acting like it didn't pan out with the mayor. And then it's like, we're going to the mayor. And then yeah, they get the news from the mayor that sorry, we can't do anything. Hey, Scottish geek guys here, Jimmy, right? I think I remembered your name. Anyway, welcome, howdy. Crap, almost put you in timeout there for some reason. I was meaning to pull up the comment there. There we go. Confession time. I've never actually seen this movie. Get on it. It's highly recommended. It's so good. It's so good. It's such a inspiring story. Fantastic performance by Pacino, but that goes without saying. Really, really recommend it if you ever fancy. I mean, it's not a long movie. It's like 2 hours 10 minutes. If you ever fancy spending 2 hours 10 minutes, um, give it a watch. I can think of what much worse things to do with 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's for sure. Yeah, I wasn't too sure, but yeah, okay. Thanks for confirming it. Keeping the stereotype alive. Anyway, welcome. Everybody's welcome here. Yeah, and this is really what I like about Pacino in this film. It's like the character of Serpico is under so much stress because of everything going on. He takes out on everybody around him. He takes out against his friend here, and then his girlfriend's like, "Oh, calm down," and he starts sort of going off on her, and it's wonderfully acted by Pacino. A lot of shouting here. This is pretty much an early showcase for what '90s Pacino would be like, but without the voice, obviously, because he still has high pitched New York voice in this one. Hotline to the man. But he is doing a bit of shouting in this scene. Some people always say, the shouting started with like the late '80s, early '90s, but he did quite a bit of shouting in the '70s films. He just didn't do it as big as he does it in the '90s ones, but still quite loud. You're welcoming Jimmy. Another guy. We got another guy here. Yeah, so we got some Pacino shouting here. Fuck you. Nobody says F you like Al Pacino. And now the poor girl there, he's taking it out on her as well. So this is what it's doing to him. It's destroying, his relationships and stuff. It's really eating away at it. This is what I mean with like it's such a great sort of character study as well. Like it's a great look at the character, and again, just how Pacino plays it is just magnificent in my opinion. Again, if there was any film in the '70s he would have won an Oscar for, in my opinion, that he should have won an Oscar for anyway. Uh, the Godfather, yes, without that, I can see why people say he should have won an Oscar for Godfather 1 or 2, Dog Day as well. But for me, Serpico is the film in the '70s that should have won him an Oscar. Again, it's on the level of a Raging Bull De Niro performance for me, which is to say, fucking Oscar worthy. But again, the Oscars hate Pacino for some reason, so we wouldn't get him winning until 1993. 20 years later. It took 20 years after this movie to get a fucking Oscar, which is crazy to think about. Okay, again, I don't want to go on a rant again because I did a few rants during my Pacino reviews on why he never got the Oscar before Son of a Woman. But if you look at it, man, again, his '70s run, Godfather 1 and 2 nominated, Serpico nominated, Dog Day Afternoon nominated. These are films that are all in the span of 5 years or something, right? So pretty much annually he would get a nomination. Um, Snubbed for everyone, didn't get one. Again, the only one I can get behind is Dog Day Afternoon because he was up against Jack Nicholson for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is a fantastic movie and a fantastic performance by Nicholson. So that's one I can get behind, even though I still prefer it would have been Al, but Nicholson deserved just as much. But then he's nominated for Injustice for All, 1979. Again, Best Actor. Losing out to Dustin Hoffman for Kramer versus Kramer, which is a role that Pacino turned down. So bad career choice there. um, Again, I do like Dustin Hoffman a lot, and I do actually really love Kramer versus Kramer. And Dustin Hoffman gave a fantastic performance in that one. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, I mean, again, for that one, just like with Dog Day, I might get it because yeah, Dustin Hoffman was fantastic in Kramer versus Kramer, and is his performance in Injustice for All Oscar worthy one? I mean, he has a great speech at the end, and he plays the role well, but I wouldn't put on the level of Dog Day or Serpico or Godfather 1 and 2, to be honest, in that '70s era. Um, yeah, I can sort of get that one as well. But then move into the '80s, obviously, Cruising and Offer isn't going to get anything. But yeah, Scarface. Come on, man. Even if the critics and everybody hated the film at the time, nobody was denying that Pacino was terrible, or nobody was denying that Pacino was great in that role. And I still, that's the biggest thing I don't understand, that he got nothing for Scarface. I mean, he did get a Golden Globe nomination. He did get the Golden Globe nomination. Um, Luckily, he didn't get a Razzie for Scarface. I know that De Palma got one for Worst Director, which, are you fucking kidding me? The one thing you're gonna, I mean, if you are gonna give Scarface a Razzie for anything, you're gonna give it to De Palma for directing? I mean, what the hell? Even if you have critiques with Pacino's accent and stuff like that, I don't know, whatever else, how the fuck can you have critique on De Palma's directing? That doesn't make sense to me. That here once again he has a quarrel with, yeah, that's the word. Has a bit of a fight with his girlfriend. Again, tensions are high. You know, I can relate to this. You know, I've been in stressful situations where I took it out on people around me, and seeing, you know, the reaction of the people around. I can relate to this. And that's another one where I where I'm like, you know, this is a great movie because I can relate to the character and stuff. It's so relatable because I see that you know, he shouts at his girlfriend. He's like, you know, he's going in, and then he's like, he has that look like, oh my god, did I just shout at her? Like, oh, I can so relate to that. Perfectly acted there by Pacino in that scene. Yam is here. What's up, 1-1 Bronson? Hope you're well. Serpico is very underrated. Definitely one of Pacino's best. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if it actually won it, but it was definitely nominated for a Worst Director Razzie. Um, I do believe maybe it won. I just can't be sure, but I definitely know for sure it got the nomination. Yeah, for Worst Director, Brian De Palma. Yeah, like, how? That's like if you give Worst Director to Sergio Leone for Once Upon a Time in America, or Good to Bad Yagi, whatever. Come on, give me a break. Again, if there's anything you can fault in Scarface, for me there's nothing, by the way, but personal bias. But if there's anything you can fault in Scarface, it's definitely not the freaking directing. I mean, come on. De Palma's a genius. That's like if they gave Coppola a Razzie for Godfather. Like, come on. Oh, this is a cool scene. Pacino's undercover. Obviously, he's wearing a disguise, and he's actually arresting this guy. And he's like, "Wait, are you for real?" He actually doesn't believe he's a cop because of the way he's dressed. I don't know. I guess undercover wasn't a thing yet at this point as well. Could be. Hey, the Equalizer's here. Looks like he's changed his. What's it called? The avatar thingy, the profile picture. Good evening, Bob. And I do like the look of that. From, again, it's coming up very tiny on my screen, but from what I can see, I like the look of that. It's a cool avatar. Good evening, Mr. McCall. Indeed. Thanks for joining us. Oh, actually, I'm looking, seeing it here. It looks like the same avatar, but it's animated. Yeah, looks cool. Looks really cool. Like my little animated Bronson one. I've been through a few avatars as well of the Bronson icon. So he just arrested a guy who was actually in deep with the cops there. He actually is on a good basis with the cops, and they're actually treating him like old chums there. He says, "I thought this fucking guy was a janitor or something." And Pacino's actually like, "Look, I don't care if you know these guys. I don't care if you are, you know, if you get along with them or whatever. If you have a good relationship with these guys, in front of these guys, I will fucking bust you. I will put you in jail. You will do what I tell you because you're my prisoner. Here it is. Come here. Empty your pockets. You're my prisoner. You do what I tell you. Come here." And yeah, Pacino actually gets pretty brutal in the scene. I love this scene. Spread him. Stay the fuck out of this. Fucking love this scene. Yeah, he's. Oh wait, actually, I think no, I think we're good. He's actually getting pretty nasty here with this guy. I think he's like a low level mobster or something. I don't know, but he's definitely not fucking around with him. That's for sure. Let's see. My two favorite scenes in this one, Yam Yam is saying this. My two favorite scenes in this one is the one where the cops are shooting at him and they don't realize he's a. Oh yeah. We just had that scene. I actually was pointing out that that's one of my favorite scenes as well. Like, hey, I'm a police officer. It's me, Serpico. Yeah, that's a great scene. And the scene where he smashes the chair, which is coming up here. There it is, Yam Yam, for your pleasure. Yeah, this is actually, I think, in his career. Um, Panic in Needle Park had a few scenes where he lost his temper. Uh, I would say that's Pacino losing his temper at 40, 50% or something. But this is one of the first times in his career where he really goes, you know, where he fully loses his temper in the character, smashing the chair, roughing up the guy a little bit, throwing him around. Up until then, up until this point, Pacino was of course pretty quiet in Godfather One. Scarecrow, he was a pretty passive character. He didn't really do a lot of fighting in Scarecrow. And then yeah, this one where he's, at this point pretty angry and mad. This scene is another great one where he's really frustrated with everything now, and it's safe with my ass on the line. It's safe, and stuff like that. I'm gonna go to outside agencies. It was starts, but the reality is we do not wash our own laundry. It just gets dirty. This is a great scene. Where am I gonna go? My life, you fuck. Oh, here's the scene where he's dressed as a rabbi. So yeah, this is pretty much spoofed a little bit in Last Action Hero. I think I read that that was the intent of that scene in Last Action Hero. It was sort of a not spoof, but callback reference to this scene where Pacino's dressed as a rabbi. Man, what a film! What a film! Or as Pacino himself says in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, what a picture! What a picture! One of my favorite parts of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for sure was Pacino's little role. I wish he had more to do, but it was cool to see him in a Tarantino film nonetheless. So yeah, now everybody in the department is basically nervous slash suspicious slash paranoid or whatever, inquisitive even, and they really want to know about Serpico's outside agencies that he's been to. Like they want to keep things on the wraps in their own house, and they don't want it to leak. So now they're actually pretty nervous that Pacino, Serpico, has gone to outside agencies to come out on the corruption. My second favorite Al Pacino flick is *Scent of a Woman*. Wow, what a great film that is! It is, yeah, and criminally underrated. Most don't mention it when they talk about Pacino flicks, which is a shame. It's bust, and yeah, it's so great. I actually did earlier on give the choice to people watching my previous stream if I was going to do a watch party on Serpico or *Scent of a Woman*, but everybody voted for Serpico. So, but I will probably do a *Scent of a Woman* watch party someday in the future. I mean, with me doing the reviews on the Pacino films, Pacino watch parties should become a thing as well on my channel. I mean, I don't know why I haven't done a Pacino watch party on my channel before. Again, I've done a few with Gareth, Heat, and Scarface. So this is my third Pacino watch party. But the first one I'm doing on my channel. I mean, I would definitely wouldn't mind going through pretty much all of his films in this way, like give the ultimate Pacino fan commentary on these films. That would be something. Um, because I'm sure there are many Pacino fans like me, but I mean, I'm that much of a fan that I'm reviewing every one, and I do mean every one of his films. So, like, I do consider myself a bit of an ultimate fan of Pacino in that way. That makes sense without blowing my own horn or anything. It was time to change my profile picture. I like the animation style. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like I say, yeah, that's why I changed it to the one that I have now with the animated Bronson with the two guns. I saw that picture and I was like, oh, that's a cool one. I should use that for YouTube. So I did. It is definitely cool. A cool little animated picture, drawing picture. This is the police commissioner, I'm thinking, or one of the big higher ups, anyway. Is it just me or does Sylvester Stallone with longer hair look like Al Pacino and Serpico? I don't think they look alike, but I think when stalking, Stallone, when Stallone was younger with a beard on hair, with beard and long hair, and looks like Al Pacino and Serpico. Yes, and I actually did point that out a bit earlier. Where if you look at Stallone, excuse me, if you look at Stallone and then Nighthawks, it's pretty much the Serpico look, isn't it? It's pretty much like Stallone watched Serpico and wanted to recreate that look for the character of Deke De Silva and Nighthawks. And that's actually why I did a little bit of a joke when I did my Stallone character countdown live stream with Scott the movie critic 2 weeks ago at this point, where I actually did make that joke where I was like, okay, Deke De Silva is one of my favorite characters of Stallone. Here's a picture of Deke De Silva. Here's a picture of Deke De Silva, Stallone and Nighthawks, and then I pulled up this picture here of Pacino and Serpico, and I was like, oh wait a minute, I just finished my rehab program, but that's wrong. This is Al Pacino. This is not Stallone, but he looks very similar. I actually made that joke on that stream. But yeah, absolutely agree. Stallone with the beard, even when he's rocking the beard in Rocky Four, where he's training in Russia and he has the beard, it's a bit of a Serpico look as well. Even though he doesn't have really much longer hair in that film, when he's doing training, he does grow the beard. But yeah, definitely agree with that. Yeah, man. So there's the point in the movie where actually something is about to be done about the corruption, where it's actually working with some people that seem trustworthy. They're actually trying to do something about the situation here at this point. Um, but yeah, it's still not, you know, definitely not smooth sailing. Still a bit of tension and stuff. They're still pretty much hounding him on the fact that he said that he's been to outside agencies, aka the mayor, and he will go to the New York Times and make a story public, I think, in a few scenes as well. And this guy is the district attorney, I want to say, who's actually on Serpico's side and he wants to do something as well. See, there's always a few people you can trust in these things, right? But it's very hard to find the right people. Again, another aspect I like about the film is that he's so much of an outsider. It's like, who can he trust? Who is against him? Who's with him? Yeah, this is definitely a little bit of a hippie look here with this shirt that he has, and the sunglasses, and the bead necklace, whatever it is. Oh, yeah, this is a powerful scene where his girlfriend is well, pretty much breaking up with him and leaving. Um, yeah, this is a great scene. Yeah, yeah, I'm saying I'm similar to you, Dan, and Eastwood for Life fan, Carlos. Yeah, prefer old school action and thrillers where action was action and was rugged, but a great modernish thriller, 88 minutes. I really like it. Actually, 88 minutes. Yeah, I did talk about this earlier on this evening on the previous stream I did. Uh, that is one that's coming up soon for review on season three. There's actually one that I really don't mind, don't hate it at all, as opposed to many people. There's quite a lot of bad reviews and stuff for it, but it's actually a pretty decent film. I actually do like 88 minutes. Um, I would say I prefer it to Righteous Kill, which is the same director as I'm doing all the reviews now. I'm sort of noticing this pattern that if Pacino likes a director, he usually works with him a few more times. Coppola, De Palma, Sidney Lumet, Michael Mann, and the same with the director of 88 Minutes and Righteous Kill, John Avnet. I think they got on, and that's why he did Righteous Kill as well, right after 88 Minutes. But yeah, it's not a bad film. I do like it. Probably would be in the top 30. I wouldn't put it in top 20 or definitely not top 10, but it's a decent film. Let's see, I mean, saying, sorry about my voice, guys. I've been doing the impressions of Pacino all night, and my voice is a bit raspy and stuff now. I have Serpico on DVD, but I need to upgrade this to the Eureka Blu-ray. I think it's only about a tenner here in England. Yeah, I think so. I think that is going for pretty cheap. The Eureka one. It's not the one I have. I have the German 4K that I'm watching right now. 4K from Germany. I think Kino Laura put it on 4K in the US. I don't know about a UK 4K. Oh, it's not the case. I don't know about a British 4K release. But it is on 4K in Germany and the US. Yeah, she's leaving him. He's running after her, still trying to salvage, the relationship, but it's too late. And this is a cool shot of him. It breaks my heart pretty much every time. Like her reaction: should I walk away, or I'm not gonna walk away? It's finished. Oh God, look his expression. It's again best actor in the world for me. Devil's Advocate is my favorite. Well considered. Well considered a source, son. Oh yeah, Devil's Advocate. Again, recently reviewed that one a few weeks ago. Still holds up. Still one of my favorites as well. I think. Again, I'm trying to remember my top 10. I think that one is in my top 10, or it was an honorable mention. But no, actually, I think that was in my top 10. I think it was number 9 or 8. So yeah, it is a favorite of mine. I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm surprised, Kevin. They don't see me coming. Oh, thanks, May. Thanks, May. I appreciate that. Yeah, hit the like button, spread it around, all that good stuff. It's always well appreciated. Yeah, I love the Devil's Advocate. Oh, that's another one I would. Oh, that's one I should do a watch party on in the near future. Maybe bring in a guest on that one. I think Garrett has that one. Maybe I can ask Garrett. It is a long film though, but worth it. Definitely worth it. And here's a little bit of subtle product placement where Pacino is wearing a. Oh, it's not showing up now, but he was wearing a apron sort of thing with Coca-Cola on it, and it makes me thirsty for a Coke now. Oh, here is a little bit of shooting at the shooting range. See, I always like this stuff when they show in a cop movies, like what goes on, like away from patrol or away from a big case or something, where you just show the cops in the station doing shooting practices. I really do like, I really do like that stuff when they show that in films. course, my favorite shooting range scene has to be in Lethal Weapon, right? Where bam, 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 bam. Have a nice day. You all know the scene I'm talking about. Happy 50th watch. You know, I'm trying to drink from an empty, from an empty glass. Let's refill. I really do like this stuff, honestly. Like I said, when they show the behind the scenes sort of things about what cops do when they're not on patrol and things like that. However, none of these films show paperwork, so I know that's a big thing if you're a police officer. There's a lot of paperwork. Of course, it's not entertaining for movies to watch stuff like that. My top 5 Pacino flicks are Scarface. That's mine. Number 2, Son of Woman. Number 3, Sea of Love. Number 4, Kalios Way. Jack and it's a joke. Oh, you almost gave me a heart attack there. 5 would be Insomnia. Yes, I love that shot on Insomnia. It's a very, very. Shit. Keep getting these burps. Very, very underrated Pacino film. Absolutely. I just talked about that again as well on the previous stream. It's underrated for Pacino. It's underrated for Robin Williams films. It's underrated for Christopher Nolan films. And again, I get it. Christopher Nolan directed the Dark Knight trilogy, fantastic films. He directed not Inception. Wait, was Inception a Nolan film? I can't remember. But he directed Memento, Oppenheimer, obviously recently won Best Picture. Pacino presented the award that got a good laugh, to put it mildly. Trying to think now. Tenant is not a Nolan film. I get it. The man has done amazing things, but Insomnia, for me, it's right up there. It's a fantastic film. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a runner-up. RoboCop. Yeah, definitely agree with that one. That's another great shooting range scene in the movie. But I still prefer Lethal Weapon slightly. But RoboCop is definitely up there. Yeah, Insomnia is great. I can't wait to do the review on that one. I actually watched Insomnia last week or a week and a half ago. I was just in the mood to watch it, so I rewatched that one. It still holds up. And spoilers, it's going to be a positive review on that one, I'm sure. I like that German 4K Serpico artwork. Reminds me of the Scarface 4K gold cover. Hold on. Wait. Don't I have the Scarface 4K here with me? No, I don't. But yeah, now that you say it, a little bit, yeah. No, I don't have the Scarface 4K. I think it's in there. I had it earlier because on a previous stream I had all the Pacino films out, but yeah, fair point. The Prestige is awesome. Yeah, it is. I agree. That's another great one. Sea of Love with the underrated and very sexy Ellen Barker. Oh yeah, she's smoking out on that one. She was also really sexy in the excellent Big Easy with Dennis Quaid. I haven't seen that one yet, but I'm definitely intrigued. I've seen a few films of hers from that era, from like the late 80s, early 90s. But Big Easy is not one of the ones I've seen. But yeah, Sea of Love is another great one. Come the weather's hour. I'm everybody's daddy. I can't shout right now because it's midnight and I have neighbors. So, yeah, it is past midnight over here. This is from the iconic, still right there. He's wearing the outfit that he's wearing there with the pointy hat. Oh, this is a cool scene. They're actually confronting him, like they're saying that you're right. I'd say it isn't so, Serpico, and stuff like that. It isn't so. And then this guy tries to strong arm him, but look at Pacino's reaction. And this is like a Steven Seagal Aikido move right there. And yeah, that's all Pacino in that shot. It's not a stunt double, or it's not a fight double or anything. That was all Pacino. I mean, first, Pacino obviously isn't the guy who's known was into martial arts and stuff like that. but that was a pretty convincing, throw. I guess a judo throw or something like that. Uh, Again, gotta give him props. Devil's Advocate, Heat, Any Given Sunday are tops. Yeah, Any Given Sunday. That's definitely another one that's. I don't think it's quite top 10 for me. I don't think I've ranked it in my top 10 when I did that video, year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it was. But it was definitely a strong honorable mention for sure. Definitely. And Heat is in my top 10, and Devil's Advocate is in my top 10. Yeah, so definitely those two. Any Given Sunday, strong runner up, strong honorable honorable mention. As I was saying at the beginning of this stream, on the telly there, the picture comes up a little greenish at times. That's not the way that I'm seeing it with my eyes. So that must be the camera. It's yeah, it's not as green and real, in reality as it looks on there. Oh, skip this one. The Prestige is my favorite movie. Yeah, it is definitely a great one. It's definitely a great one. Can't argue with that one. You have to love these 70s films. Very great decade. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like this one, Death Wish, French Connection, Taxi Driver, Mean Streets. That 70s New York. Those 70s New York films. Oh, can't get enough of them. I really can't. Like New York in the 70s is just you know, it's just a totally different animal from what New York is today. I mean, I've never been there. I would like to go one day. It's definitely one of the places in the US I would love to visit. But from what I know from movies and stuff, and it has definitely changed since this era here. And as any city, town, state, whatever, as any part of the world does over this long of a period. I mean, this movie is over 50 years old. Can you believe it? This is 1973. This is 51 years old. This movie, and it still holds up. Um, it's crazy to think about. It's actually a really good 4K transfer. I think this is actually the first time I'm watching it on 4K since I bought it. Because I think I bought the 4K last year after I did my review, and for the review I watched it on Blu-ray, so I haven't watched it since. Yeah, so this is literally the first time I popped the 4K disc in. Yeah, facts, absolutely. Like I said, man, especially in those early 70s, with this one and Death Wish and stuff and French Connection, man. It's it's a cliche to say, but in those sort of films, those 70s New York set films, New York really becomes a character of the film, right? Um, it really becomes a sort of a character. Yeah, a lot of people say that about certain locations of films and stuff, but it's true for me with these sort of films. The city really does become a character of its own. Is Insider a good one? I've not seen it yet. And also Injustice for All is an underrated Pacino flick. I'm out of order. You're out of order. Yeah, I love Injustice for All. Insider, well, I would shamelessly have to plug my review that I did of it. If you really want a good, you know, full solid opinion. So I will say it is a good one. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I don't think I don't spoil anything in my review, so you can watch my review and not be spoiled. But I will say this quickly that I do remember saying in the review. It is 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's a big epic Michael Mann film. Um, However, in my personal opinion, I mean this might vary, of course, for people, but in my opinion, the story wasn't warranted for a 2 hour 40 minutes running time. So it's the story for me wasn't gripping all the way through. Having said that, It's a fantastic performance by Pacino. It's a fantastic performance by Russell Crowe. It's wonderfully directed by Michael Mann. Uh, Fantastic supporting cast. Christopher Plummer, Diane Venora was also in Heat. Um, Michael Gambon pops up there for a scene. The late great Sir Michael Gambon. Um, it had a great cast. I'm just trying to remember the names. Gina Gershon is in it. Um, can't think of the others, but those are the ones I remember at this moment. But it had a really impressive cast, so it's definitely, I would say it's worth a watch, especially if you're, and I know you are, but if you are a Pacino fan, definitely, and especially if you liked Heat, with, of course, that was another Michael Mann Pacino film, as is The Insider. So, so yeah, I'd say it's recommended. However, again, for me personally, I gave it a slightly lower rating because the pacing for me was a bit off in the film. I didn't really feel like the story was good enough to support, 2 hours and 40 minutes of running time. But again, that's my opinion. I mean, people say that about Scarface, people say that about The Godfather, so that's all subjective. So yeah, now we're at the point of film. I think we're pretty much near the end. Yeah, we're an hour 50 minutes in. Only about 15 to 20 minutes left. Um, Now we're at the point where they're going to go to the New York Times and actually go public with the story and police corruption stuff. Um, they actually got help from this one guy that was, I think, one of Pacino's previous captains, or he's one of his current uh, co-workers in the precinct. Um, but yeah, here they are picking up a copy of the New York Times, and their story has gone public. And this actually prompts a big scale investigation with a grand jury hearing and stuff, and Serpico has to testify. Um, this is actually where, for Serpico, it's looking good because something is really about to get done about the corruption. But on the one hand, he's now really put a big bullseye on his back, right, with his fellow officers. Um, so this is the third act. Um, Thanks, 101 Buns. I don't often use YouTube, but I'll definitely will watch your Pacino reviews. I love hearing perspectives on actors I love and films I love hearing about films over this. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's always the movie first. I mean, I love a great edition, but it's the movie. The movie always comes first for me. And I've always said that. That's not just something I've picked up in the last few months or whatever. I've always maintained uh, that view on movies. I don't care if it has the best edition, the best looking edition out there. If I don't care about the movie, I will not pick it up. If it's a movie I love and it has a great edition, sure. For the movies you love, you want all the bells and whistles. But if it's a blind buy, if it's a movie I don't even know, I'm not gonna pick up a fancy deluxe edition for it, unless it's relatively cheap. Maybe then. But I definitely wouldn't, pay like 40, 50 euros for a collector's set of a movie that I know nothing about. Scarface is my favorite film of all time. You're preaching to the choir. The best gangster film. If someone thinks something else is better, that's fine because films are subjective, yeah, but they are wrong. Scarface number one. I respect your opinion, but you're wrong. Yeah, we all know that quote. No, seriously, yeah. Again, it's all subjective. For me, Scarface is the number one movie of all time as well. I always say subjectively, Scarface is my favorite movie of all time. Objectively, it would be probably Once Upon a Time in the West because of the filmmaking and yeah, it's big epic. It's always a race between those two, but yeah, it's always subjectively been Scarface. But and that's, by the way, what I love about YouTube and this community is we all have these different opinions, and it's all perfectly fine. It's all perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, I always fucking love hearing somebody, who has a different take on something than I do. I always love that shit. As long as we can sort of discuss it, politely and respectably, uh, in a respectful manner, it's all good. You don't have to love Scarface the way I do. If you just explain why it wasn't for you and stuff like that, I love that shit. If you come to me with something valid, I love it. So yeah. Oh yeah, here's, by the way, F. Murray Abraham, one of his first roles, uncredited, the guy in the car here. Yeah, that is another Scarface connection for you there. That's Omar Suarez from Scarface. Uh, Same, I mean, here in charity shops, I'll happily buy a 10 pence DVD because at least I have that film in my collection. I own it, which is most important. And if I love it, I'll upgrade. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Bob McCall almost forgot about Scarecrow and Heat. I'll work with two of the greatest of all time, Gene Hackman and Robert De Niro. Can't get better than that, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. Scarecrow is so underrated as well. Um, that's one of my favorite Gene Hackman performances. Actually, nobody really talks about that as a great Gene Hackman or Pacino for that matter. But just going on Gene Hackman here for a moment, it's one of his best performances, man. It's right up there with French Connection and stuff like Unforgiven. Oh, he's amazing in Unforgiven. Um, I have a fair few Hackman films in my collection. The Conversation is another great one. Great performance by him. Uh, but yeah, that is a great one. And yeah, Heat, of course, Heat is legendary. We all love Heat because you got a great ass. You got your head all the way up. Do you have top five films? Mine are Scarface '83, Cape Fear 1991. Oh, that's a great one there. Misery 1990. That's another great one. Flight. Oh, I do like Flight Plan with Jodie Foster. That's a good film. And Triangle from 2000. Actually, not familiar with that one actually, but the rest I'm all familiar with. Um, yeah, I think I do. Number one is Scarface. Number two is Once Upon a Time in the West. Number three is The Godfather. Um, Number four is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And my number five, actually, I think Godfather 2. Godfather 2 is in my top 10 movies of all time. And beyond that, some other films, again, these are in no strict order, but filling out the rest of a top 10, these films would make my top 10 as well. Again, no order, but Rocky, the original Rocky, would be in my top 10. Raging Bull would be. Pulp Fiction would be. And Once Upon a Time in America would be. And Goodfellas. I think with that, we have a top 10. Again, those five would be in that order I mentioned, the first five, but the other ones are no strict order. Um, but yeah, um, that is my top five. So Scarface, Once Upon a Time in the West, Godfather. What did I say? Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Godfather 2. Yeah, that's my top five films of all time. I'm also looking forward to the live stream you and Dan will do for the China O'Brien flicks. Not seen him yet, but I do have it on pre-order. I do as well. Eureka has actually sent an email a few days ago that they have shipped it out. So fingers crossed it's going to get here soon. And yeah, I'll definitely do the first one with Dan, and the second one might actually be with Dan. And I'm hoping to get Gareth on board for China O'Brien too, because I know he has that one on VHS. I'm hoping to get him on board for that one. But yeah, definitely the first one will be with Dan, and the second one maybe with Dan and Gareth. We shall see. So yeah, this is the bust where it all sort of goes to hell. Um, this is pretty much how he got shot, which we saw again in the beginning. Another Carlito's Way um, similarity, similar to Carlito's Way. This film starts pretty much with the end and it flashes back. Um, so yeah, but yeah, here we're gonna see what happened, why he ended up like we saw him in the beginning, and it's a really good scene. Wasn't Dyer in your top films of all time? It would definitely be in the top 20, but it's not in the top 10. If we're talking favorite action movies of all time, yes. My favorite action movies of all time, it would be Terminator 2, Die Hard, um, Sue Me, but I'm going to pick Cobra at number 3. Um, Hard Target, First Blood Part 2, and a lot of other stuff like that. Commando, Hard Target, Double Impact, stuff like that. Again, that's if we're talking action movies, but actually sort of away from any genre, just favorite movies of all time. Die Hard is definitely top 20, sure, but not in the top 10. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, Pacino, he got shot. He was trying to bust the door, and actually, his colleagues said they just stood by and let it happen. Of course, this one guy here wiping off the blood, he does sort of get a bit sympathetic because obviously once Frank gets down, he is now concerned and stuff. But yeah, he didn't do anything to prevent this, so he's still a dickbag, a dipshit, a shitbag, whatever you want to label him. Or for my UK friends, he's a fucking cunt. Nice picks. Speaking of Godfather, I just wish James Caan was in longer. Goodfellas is great. I prefer Casino, but Goodfellas is great. Yeah, I can see a point for that. I mean, it's close, right? Here's Goodfellas, here's Casino. It's close, but it's uh, by a hair, by a little pubic hair. It's Goodfellas over Casino for me. It's really by a micro hair. But yeah, James Caan was fantastic in The Godfather. Um, yeah, I mean, he was in it enough, I would say. I mean, if you read the book, which I do have somewhere around there, I do have the original Godfather book. He does have, I think, more scenes, more stuff in the book, uh, but they pretty much kept it the same as the book in terms of, his role in the film. He's there, he's taking over, he's the hot at it. Shit happens and he dies. Spoilers for those that haven't seen The Godfather, a movie that is over 50 years old now. But oh crap, comments jumped. What's up, Jeff? Hey, Mike. Welcome back once again. Always a pleasure. Good to see you again, buddy. And I should plug, by the way, while I still have the time, after the weekend on Monday, so that's on April 29th. Yeah, I think it is. Don't even know which fucking day it is. Oh, this is the 26th now. So yeah, that will be the 29th. I will do I'm going to be part of another Talking Movies live stream with Dan's Movie Cave, and Carlos East with Life, and we're going to have um, Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection on as a special guest, where we are going to be discussing the career and movies of Sergio Leone. Again, I just mentioned quite a few of his are in my top 10 movies of all time, so it's going to be a great discussion. Definitely tune in for that one. So that's Monday, the 29th, and that's I want to say 8:30 my time, so 7:30 for the UK. And I think that would be like 3 uh, Eastern. I don't know much about the American time zones. I'm sorry, but it will probably be around uh, 3 4 p.m. one time zone, and the other I think it's 12 p.m. I think that's Pacific time. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, these time zones are confusing. It's still so weird to me that I'm on one end of the planet and at the other end of the planet it's like totally different time. The whole fucking time zones is just so weird to me. Still, I do have the China O'Brien 1 and 2 on DVD. I've not seen them yet, but I think the ones I have burned in subtitles. So the Eureka one will be my first time watch. I still currently have the German DVDs, and they're all good. That you can switch them on English. They have no subtitles burned in. So I think you talked about this actually, Yan. I think wasn't you tuning in on the last stream on the one I did with Mike, user one retro, not this mic, a different mic. There's a lot of mics on YouTube, by the way. I think you mentioned this. You had an Australian release, didn't you? Which had French subtitles or something. I seem to recall that. Bob McCall is saying my favorite action film is Last Boy Scout. That's another great one. That would definitely be another top 10 one for sure. Absolutely love everything about that film. Before I bring up the next comment, this is probably my favorite acting scene from Pacino in this one, where he finally gets, after being shot, he finally gets the gold badge, right? The detective shield, the gold badge, and he breaks down here in the hospital. I'm gonna give it a close up when it happens. I love this bit. He's so good. And actually, as he's been shot in the cheek, he's sort of having a little bit of a short shout. So what he says, "What's this for being an honest cop, or getting shot in the face?" Um, I love this scene. You tell him they can shove it. I don't want it. So he finally gets what he always wanted, pretty much, and after everything he's gone for, he doesn't want it anymore. It's a powerful scene, and he just places the badge back. This captain, I guess. It's just it's so good. He's starting to and here he breaks down. Powerful stuff. I must say this really hits me emotionally a little bit. It's a great scene by Pacino. Goodfellas, I'd say, is a tad grittier. Yeah, because Casino has all the glitz and glamour, literally, of Vegas and stuff, right? It's yeah, I can see that. I hear the doctor is giving him the news like you're gonna be stuck with a limp. The hearing in your right ear. I think he's deaf in one ear now or something. But yeah, he suffered a lot here, and it's a very powerful closure to the film. Where yes, finally something is going to be done about corruption, but look at the price this guy had to pay. And he actually retires from the force after this, and he's going to move to Switzerland, which they're going to say that at the end. When it comes to action heroes, I find it difficult to say my favorite because it's mostly about the film over actor. But I'd say it's Arnie's the most iconic. But I think I'd go with JCVD as my favorite. For me, it's always going to be Sly, but again, I've talked about that before. It's always going to be Stallone for me. Cobra, Rambo, But I get it. Arnold is great. There's no doubt about it. And yes, here in England, we say the C word a lot. Yeah, I've noticed. I've done a lot of streams with British guys so far, with people from the UK, so I noticed. And here he's giving the his testimony. And again, with the music, everything here, it's sort of a sad but bittersweet sort of ending to this film. And yeah, he's packing up his stuff. He's moving out. He's moving to a different country. He's going to go to Switzerland. And actually, I think the real Serpico lived in Switzerland until I don't know how long he lived. I want to say for at least the rest of the 70s. I want to say. I think even at one point Mr. Serpico moved over to my neck of the woods here in the Netherlands. I think he lived here in the Netherlands for a while as well. I think at the moment he's back in the US, I want to say. But this is a powerful last shot of the film. He's all alone with his dog, and then the text comes up. I'm going to read the text. Frank Serpico resigned from the police department on June 15, 1972. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for conspicuous bravery and action. Serpico is now living somewhere in Switzerland, is what it says. And we end the film on this beautiful, shot pulling out of Pacino sitting there alone with the dog. This is the price he's paid for, exposing corruption. What a film! Again, I gave this a 10 out of a 10 in my review. I still stand by that. This is a 10 out of a 10 film. A masterpiece of the 70s filmmaking, in my opinion. One of the greatest. Yeah, what a film. Oh, Emmett Walsh was in this film. I forgot. Yeah, I wanted to point him out. Emmett Walsh, who recently passed away. Of course, we know him from films like Red Scorpion and so, but he was in this film as well. Yeah. Man, I love this film. Oh yeah, the C words, I covered this one. I'll be like, see, everybody hates you, you're gonna lose. Smile, you fuck. Can I ask your advice on film reviews if you wouldn't mind? Thinking of doing film reviews, but I'm wondering how can I review a film without going into spoilers. Thank you. It's definitely not. It's not easy. Um, I must say, I must confess, for certain reviews, I'm sort of like, okay, well, I have to talk a little bit about something for this one because it's critical to the story and stuff. Okay, can remove the TV. There we go. There we go. Where was it going? It's late, guys. It's almost 1 a.m. Where was it going? Yeah, sometimes you sort of have to talk about a little bit for a certain film. Like, for example, it was one recent Pacino review that I had to do that on. Just can't remember which one it was now. Oh, yeah, Send a Woman. I did actually say, okay, well, I have to talk about something in Send a Woman, which I'm hoping nobody here has seen Send a Woman because I'm going to spoil something. But in the Send a Woman review, I actually just felt like I had to touch upon the fact that Pacino is suicidal in that film and he wants to, blow his brains out, as he says. So I did give a spoiler warning for that. But with other films, it's just like just give the basic premise. That's what I do with the reviews. Is give the basic premise, give the basic plot summary, plot description, and then talk about what you liked in the film and talk about what you didn't like. So in terms of plot, just leave it at a basic sort of plot description. And then what I do with the Pacino reviews is I just go like, okay, let's start with performances. I love Pacino's performance, or I maybe wasn't a fan of Pacino's performance. That hasn't happened yet, but who knows? Maybe when we get to Geely or Jack and Jill, just go through some of the actors that you really liked and the performances. Then what I do is I talk about the director, or in the case of Serpico, it's based on a true story, so I talk a bit about that and how accurate it is to the true story. So I try to do a bit of research. The Serpico review is actually a perfect example. Where I talked about Pacino and some of the supporting cast, the direction by Sidney Lumet, the script, and the fact that it's based on a real life story, which it's based on a book based on a real life story. But I talked about that in the Serpico review. And yeah, that's basically what I do. Sort of go through the some of the major cast members, evaluate or review the performances, review the director. If it's a film like Scarface, obviously you got to talk a bit about Oliver Stone, the screenwriter as well. So the screenwriter is important to talk about. You mentioned the script is great and stuff like that. And then basically I try to keep my Pacino reviews down to 10 minutes. I sometimes go overboard. Sometimes or below 10 minutes, but I do aim for that 10-minute mark pretty much every time. So I just try to keep it as brief and to the point as possible, really, while still being somewhat informative, and hopefully only you can be the judge of that. Hopefully, be entertaining in the process as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do the reviews, and avoiding spoilers and stuff like that. Sometimes you have to, and most of the times you just try to avoid. But if you do, always put a spoiler tag in there, like say, okay, skip to this time mark if you want to avoid. Um, that's yeah, you always do have to do that. Otherwise, people are going to say, "Oh, dude, you spoiled the fucking movie." Yeah, I think that was a stream. The DVD I have says Hong Kong in the top. I've heard as burned subtitles. Not sure. I've not seen him because I have a lot of films and watch a lot. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. I don't think we'll ever have another big film star like we did prior. Unfortunately, it really is a shame where films have gone now. We need films to be made like the ones for our classics. You're again preaching to the choir. This is exactly how I feel about filmmaking. Ditch CGI, go back to practical effects, shoot on location. Yeah, real cars, real stunts. Yeah, if only. I wish. Are there any Pacino flicks you aren't a fan of, or do you like them all? Well, I'm ambivalent about Jack and Jill. I have seen it in cinema. Actually, I'm going to talk about this when I do the review. I have seen Jack and Jill in cinema. I was the only one there. That should have told me something. Um, his stuff in the film, although I'm like Pacino is above this material, obviously, I do still like him in it, if that makes sense. Cruising is another odd one where I do like the filmmaking behind, and I like Pacino's performance, but just the fact that it's such a dark film and a bit disturbing film with some weird, how do I say this? Some scenes that are uncomfortable if you are a heterosexual male, let's say. Again, I've said it in a review. I'm going to clarify it here as well. I have no problem with gay people. I have no problem with gay people doing gay things, but I don't want to see that in the movie. And in Cruising, they show quite a bit of gay people doing gay stuff, and it's pretty uncomfortable. I must admit, and that's not bigoted or whatever, or what's the word, or that I'm, but I just don't want to see that. you know if that makes sense. I try not to offend anyone. I hope it doesn't come across as so, but um, yeah, no worries, Yam Yam. Appreciate you asking. Just my friends call me Shelly. You got friends? When did this happen? What is this in reference to? Oh, that was the okay. I got you. 2 for 2. The speech Al Pacino does at the end of Son of Woman, I cry every time, very powerful. Yes, that is a great speech, indeed. That's another one of my favorites. Oh, this was sent a couple of minutes ago. I think she's still up. Yeah, no worries, Mayan. I'm going to wrap it up anyway in a few minutes as we have finished the movie. But yeah, thanks for being here. Always appreciate the support. Always appreciate you being here. You always liven up the place, let's say. Usually I have a pretty male dominated audience, so it's always great to have one woman in there. So yeah, really do appreciate it. Always great to get a female perspective on things. See a Queen May, indeed, the Queen, the ultimate horror queen. Good night, May. Well said, Yam Yam. Yeah. Coffin Crew. Hey, this is a new watcher. Thanks for tuning in. Do appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Coffin. Forget that. I want to be a filmmaker, and I'm currently scripting a short film which I will make. And yes, I understand the Jack and Jill, but I do like Everyone Loves My Dunkachino here. I like the Dunkachino bit. On the other hand, I'm like, really, Al? Really? I do like in that Dunkachino thing that he does a couple of movie quotes and he sort of puts them in there, like "Say hello to my chocolate blend," Attica, hooah, he gets those in there. Uh, this whole trial's out of sight, out of order. They pull me back in. I think he got that in there as well. I don't think he even got a "I know it was you" Fredo sort of thing in there. I know it was you. So I do like in that scene that he's referencing, some past movies and stuff. But it's still like, he went from, um, 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 great films like The Godfather and Serpico and Scarface, all that stuff, to this. I'm dreading going into Geely. That's going to be the first time watching that film for me, Geely. Um, I know Gareth has put himself through it recently, and he has said it's really bad. But yeah, that is one that's coming up for the review pretty soon. So I'm gonna have to get a copy of it, or I might cheat and just watch a digital copy somewhere. But yeah, Geely is one that's the jury's still out. I'll have to watch it. Same. I'm straight. I don't want to see gay stuff. Not my thing. Yeah. Again, it's not a case of me rejecting that stuff or anything, or just being bigoted or whatever. But you know, it's uncomfortable. It just is. It just can't make it any different than that. It's uncomfortable. Uh, awesome stream, Jeff. Take it easy, man. Oh, thanks, Larry. Thanks for being here as always. Yeah, it is about bedtime for me. um, so yeah, I will be wrapping up. Just gonna quickly wet the whistle again, because again, with all these Pacino things, impressions and stuff I've been doing, my throat is dry. That's better. So yeah, we will be wrapping up. I just want to actually, let's get the camera back in there. I do want to thank everybody that tuned into this one. I do really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys watching this film along with me. I had a blast watching this film. Like I said, it's one of my favorite Pacino films. It always has been one of my favorite Pacino films, and it always will be one of my favorite Pacino films. It's such a great performance. And again, Sidney Lumet, fantastic director. He did a bang on job with this film. Um, Maybe we'll do Dog Day Afternoon in a few days, because now I really want to see Dog Day Afternoon again, because obviously the same director, same actor. We might do Dog Day Afternoon within the next few days, but we'll have to see. It all depends on whether I can do it and whether I'm not, streaming over anybody. So we'll see. But I am contemplating now doing Dog Day Afternoon pretty soon. Oh, Jim is here. Hey, Jim. Yeah, just at the last few minutes, but that's okay. You can always catch the replay. But I do appreciate you tuning in nonetheless. It's always great to see you here as well. Everybody check out Jim, by the way. He does some fantastic videos, going through decades and through years in films, giving his favorite and stuff like that. He always does fantastic stuff. Check Jim's movie channel out. Had a great time. Good night, all. Yes. Is that gritty, or should that be great? Anyway, it's both appropriate, because this was a great film and it's a gritty film. So yeah, it's I would say it's appropriate. But anyway, I guess that's it for me. You know what? As it is still in the US anyway, it's not Pacino's birthday here anymore, but it is still in the US. So we are just gonna play that Pacino intro thing that I did for the previous stream, which I'm just gonna replay that again to lead us out on. And yeah, just gonna say goodbye to everyone. Goodbye, Yam Yam. Thanks for tuning in. Jim, Bob McCall, Larry, Coffin Crew, Mayan, the Queen. See, Gareth was here earlier, but I think Gareth might have gone to bed as well. I mean, it's now midnight in the UK as well. Mike's DVD Blu-ray was here. I'm just scrolling back. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Jason, Backtrack Cinema. Thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate it. And Alucard, yeah, Mr. Lucar was here, of course. There he is. And that was him saying that to Gareth, by the way, not to me. I think that's everybody now. Yeah, that's it. And I've covered everybody. Thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in. I'm going to play that Pacino birthday tribute clip that I did, video, to lead us out on. And yeah, we'll call it a wrap, if I can find the video, that is. Oh, there it is. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching so much. Keep punching. And we'll see you all very soon. Maybe very soon for Dog the Afternoon. You never know. Anyway, take care.
Let's all raise our glass to Alfredo James Pacino, or as many of us know you, Al Pacino.